And let's start recording. Are we recording? Yes, we are. Hey guys, so I decided, well, I should have welcomed back to my channel like everybody else. So, hey, welcome back to my channel. I decided to do a video after seeing the Snapchat stories on my Snapchat. I have Buzzfeed on my Snapchat. You know, if you have it, if you swipe like right, you'll see all those articles from other companies. Anyways, I have Buzzfeed and I love Buzzfeed. Buzzfeed has a post, if you can see right here, if it'll pick it up, maybe not. Okay, well, Buzzfeed has a post anyways. It is called 17, oh wow, 17, I thought it was 14, my bad. Oh well, 17 real life ghost stories that'll freak you TF out. So, I did read the first one and I'm like, why don't I make a video on this? Because let's see my reactions on this. I do believe they're quite short stories, so we'll go through them pretty quickly. And I like how they have like the Casper, if you could see, the Casper from the 90s with Christina Ricci there, and then Casper's there. Alright, so 17 real life ghost stories that'll freak you the F out. Okay, it says in the beginning, we asked the BuzzFeed community to tell us about their weirdest paranormal experiences. Here are the super spooky results. Okay, so number one is called The Imposter. I woke up one night having to pee, and I brought my phone to the bathroom. While walking down the hall and texting, I bumped into a girl in a white dress. I didn't look up, said sorry, and kept going. It occurred to me moments later that I was home alone and not in my bustling high school. The next day, when my boyfriend came to pick me up for the movies, he asked me why I was staring at him through the upstairs window and why I'd change out of my white dress. But I don't even own a white dress. My first reaction to that was like, fuck no. That is just creepy. Okay, the next one is called The Intruder. I was home alone watching TV when I saw something moving in the master bedroom. I strained my eyes to see a man walking out of the closet to the other side of the room. He stopped, looked at me, put his fingers to his lips, then turned around. There was blood on his face, and the back of his head was missing. He vanished back into the closet. We moved when we found out that the mysterious small hole in the ceiling of our bedroom is from a previous tenant who shot himself in that exact spot. Oh my god, that is disturbing. Like, ooh. Okay, number 3. The friendliest client. I'm a mortician. My most disturbing experience was when I was preparing a child for a viewing, and I felt someone pull my hair. A couple minutes later, I heard a giggle, and the door slammed shut. All of my machines stopped, and it was dead quiet. After I was done and the body was dressed, I felt a tap on my shoulder and warmth around my middle, approximately where a child would stand if they were hugging you. Aw, that is so sad, though. Aw. Okay, next. Number 4, the night crawlers. When I was a kid, my family moved into an apartment where a murder had been committed prior to us living there. Every night, my big sister would make me shut our bedroom window, and when I'd look outside, I'd see 3 faces staring back at me. They had no hair, noses, or mouths. They just stared but never did anything. Well, a few months back, my family was talking about that apartment, and I mentioned the faces. My sister turned to me in shock. She said she saw them too, and that's why she always asked me to close the window. See, nose is itchy. I always have a question about, for those non-believers that say, oh, and I'm not disagreeing with you, I'm saying, I think a lot of personal ghost experiences are very psychological, something might have happened, or you're just kind of in a hazy dream, so there's always some explanation, but I definitely validate it when 2 or more people experience the same exact thing in the same way. That is how can you explain that? Come on now, okay, the mysterious mom moment, number 5. A few years ago, I was upstairs at my mom's house playing on the computer when I heard the front door open and my mom come in. She yelled, "Amber, I'm home!" and she seemed to be struggling with some groceries. I ran downstairs to help her, but she wasn't there. Her car wasn't even in the driveway. Oh, wow. Okay, number 6. The Devil's Deed. Ooh. 2 years ago, I was half asleep when I felt I was being pulled off my bed by my legs. Suddenly, I shot up straight and started violently choking. It took me a few minutes to catch my breath, and it was so bad my mom woke up to check on me. Here's the scariest part. The next morning, my mom said she didn't remember my coughing fit, but she told me she had a dream that the devil was trying to pull me away from her. WTF. I'd say definitely WTF. Number 7, 10 more to go. The Whisper War. When I was a kid, I lived with just my mom. Every few nights after she went to bed and turned off all the TVs, I'd hear a man and woman casually having a quiet conversation in our kitchen area. I always had to concentrate really hard to make sure I was actually hearing something, because it was so faint I couldn't make out words. This continued for years, and I thought my mom wouldn't believe me if I told her. After we moved out, I finally told her. She said she'd always experienced the same thing. And again, although I believe that one, but if anything, I would say maybe they had, like, neighbors or, like, people, I don't know why, but it could happen, or maybe it was just, like, a neighbor's, like, radio or TV turned up too loud, or, I don't know, that's something I could possibly try to find an explanation for, but it is still, I believe that story, but for those non-believers. Anyways, moving on. Number 8. The static scenario. A few years ago, I was visiting my brother and his family, who lived in a very old Victorian house. Oh, my dream house. I was snuggling with my niece on a futon in the playroom when suddenly, in the middle of the night, the TV turned on full blast with a static screen. My 3-year-old niece jumped out of bed and ran to the TV, shutting it off. When I asked her how she knew the TV would turn on, she shrugged, saying, "They turn it on every night at this time," and fell right back to sleep. That's creepy. And this picture that they have for this is, like, really creepy. It's like, I don't know if you'll be able to see it. I'm going to describe it to you, then kind of show you. But it's like an old TV, and it has, like, the static stuff on it showing. Then it shows, like, a really ghostly skeleton looking hand, like, coming out, and, like, a little girl's, like, trying to touch it. Ew, it's creepy. But can you see that? Oh, you can. Isn't that so... Ew, it's kind of creepy. It goes with the story, but... Okay, number 9. The phone fright. My mom and I were working one day in the store we own when her cell phone rang. The caller ID said, "Home," with our number below it. She looked at me calmly and asked, "Who's at home?" My dad was at work, my sister was at college. My grandma, who used to live with my parents, had passed away about 6 months prior. Ooh, I bet you I know who it is. But then I remembered, we didn't have a home phone. Because after my grandma passed, my mom shut off the landline, since we all had cell phones, definitely her grandma. When we called the number back, it had been disconnected. That's creepy, but I bet you it was, like, the grandma trying to communicate with them, like, saying, like, "I'm okay," I don't know, but... Okay, number 10. Siri the Medium. Oh boy, this will be interesting. I love good, like, modern technology with, like, spirits and stuff, but let's see what this has to say. My mom bought me my first iPhone right before she passed away. After we lost her, I'd sometimes randomly find Siri open with a small conversation on the screen. This happened a handful of times. One day, I was scared because I was starting my new job, and left my phone on the desk next to me. Siri was open, and the screen said, "What you doing?" I burst into tears. "What you doing" was the phrase my mom and I used to greet each other on the phone, okay? I don't know if it's because, like, I don't know, I'm kind of chilly now, but I got chills reading this story. That's interesting. But that's cute, though. It's really cute. I'd burst into tears, too. Okay, number 11. The Pleasant Phantasm. Is that how you say it? Phantom? Phantasm? I had a neighbor who was a lovely old man. He would always work in his garden, and I'd walk past his house daily, so we spoke often. One day I saw him and said hello, but got no response. Not wanting to bother him, I carried on home. A few days later, I saw a removal van and people outside of his home. I was told that the man had gone hiking a week ago, had a heart attack and died. They just recovered his body. He had been dead for a week, but I'd seen him just days earlier. That is freaking creepy and awesome. And I wonder, was he looking? No. I wonder if he was like looking at her then when she said hello and he didn't respond, but that's interesting one. Okay. These are all really interesting. Like, so far, I don't want to jinx it now because we're only on 12 now, but so far they're really interesting and really good, and I pretty much believe all of them, like, you know. Okay, number 12, The Scorching Savior. In college, I lived in a notoriously haunted dorm. One night, while my roommates were away, I was followed home by a party by a guy I rejected. Ooh, this cannot go good. He was drunk and aggressive after I told him to leave, grabbed my wrist and threw me against my bed. But before anything happened, he was ripped off of me. Oh my God. There were 2 large blisters on his shoulders in the shape of handprints, as though someone had grabbed him and skulled him. He scrambled out quickly, and as I lay in bed crying, I sensed a very maternal presence rubbing my back. I was too distraught to care what it might have been. That gave me chills. Like, that is, like, awesome. Like, I wonder if it was, like, a spirit guide. Like, if you guys believe, like, I don't even know if I believe really in spirit guides. Like, I'm not sure how the paranormal works, and that's why I like to, like, learn about it, because we don't know anything about it, and it's fun to, like, get to know more about it and learn about it. But, like, I wonder if it's, like, her spirit guide, or just, like, maybe a grandfather passed away, or an uncle, or a mother of hers. She didn't say if anyone close to her passed away. But I wonder if it could have been, like, a relative or someone, like, if there's such thing as soulmates, where you're just, like, together with this one soul for eternity. Maybe it was that, or maybe it was just a spirit that was already, I mean, I don't know. Okay, yeah. Maybe it was, like, a victim, maybe, of rape or something, and I mean, who knows? The questions are really endless, but I think that is so awesome how, like, ghosts can, like, be heroes to you. It's amazing. But okay, number 13. The Super Spooky Snuggle. A few years ago, my boyfriend and I inexplicably, I cannot read today. My boyfriend and I inexplicably awoke in a panic in the middle of the night. We looked at each other, and at that moment, a large framed photo hanging on the wall crashed to the ground. I hope that doesn't come true for me. I told him I'd been having a horrible nightmare where he was being stabbed to death. He freaked out, saying he was having the exact same dream, except I was being stabbed. Later on, we both heard my mom yelling downstairs. She sounded scared and kept calling my name. This was particularly scary because we lived in California, and my mom lived in England. Oh my God. Nobody was inside the house but us. He refused to sleep in my house ever again. Ew, that freaking, I don't know why that freaked me out so much, but that's so weird. Oh, I wonder, maybe, like, it's, like, her mom, like, have you guys heard of astral projecting? Maybe it was her doing that, and, like, she's having a bad dream, too. Oh, she should have, like, called her mom at that. I would have. I don't know if she did, it doesn't say, but I would have. I'm like, yo, mom, like, I don't care what time it is, I don't care what you're doing. Oh my God, that is so weird. Okay. I wonder if I would have went downstairs, actually. Number 14. The Numbers Nightmare. When my son was a few months old, I was trying to record his laugh on my phone. I used to bounce him on my knee and say numbers before each bounce. When I played the recording back, you hear my son laughing as I count. 1, 2, 3. And after I said 3, you could hear a man's voice clearly say 4. There was no one else in the house, and the TV wasn't on. When I played it for my friend, she got goosebumps. There you go. Good EVP, girl. Number 15. The fast food fright. I was sleeping alone in a room I shared with my 6-year-old sister, but she wasn't home. She had a toy McDonald's cash register with a drive-thru radio that'd play a recording if you pressed the button. I was dozing off when I heard, "Welcome to McDonald's. Can I take your order?" from inside her closet. I investigated, took it out of the toy box, and turned it off before setting it on a shelf where it wouldn't be disturbed. About 20 minutes later, I'm falling asleep, and I heard a voice whisper, "I would like chicken McNuggets, please." You bet I pulled it out of there. Oh my god, that gave me like the chills, like the sense to like freaking burst out laughing at the same time. That's weird. Oh, that's so weird. Like, why would a ghost? That's weird how a ghost, like, that's weird. But that's, like, so funny. It's creepy, and it's funny, and it's weird. Like, I don't even know what to think of that story. Maybe she made it up. I don't know. Number 16. And Margie, the friendly ghost. I used to share a paper route with my brothers, and we delivered to a lady named Margie. Since she was old and lived alone, one of us would take the paper inside and check on her. One day, I went in and she was asleep on the bed, so I put the paper on the table and left. The next day, she was asleep again, hadn't opened the paper from the day before. The following day, I went in and Margie was awake. She said she was very happy and gave me a hug. But the next morning, there were cars outside her house. Apparently, Margie had died in her bed 3 or 4 days before. I had spoken to and hugged her about 24 hours earlier, when she was already dead. Wow. Okay, that's interesting. So, I've like heard of these things where like people say go into like a hospital room and they get these like visions of like how things were before, or just these weird visions of like people being up, or like, I don't know how to explain that, but you know what I mean? Like, or like say they're in the hospital bed, they're in the hospital and they're the sick ones, and they wake up and it's not a dream, but they're like visioning like a bunch of other people that actually aren't there. So I wonder if she went into some type of like a, dare I say it, like another place and time, like a glitch in the universe, or I don't know. That's really weird. Because I wonder if Margie had been there the whole time then they finally found her on that 4th or 3rd day that they said that the cars were out there. But I don't know, that's interesting. That's really interesting. But let me know what you guys think. Let me know down in the comments what your favorite story is. And as always, if you have your own personal ghost story, let us know. I love to read your comments and get to know you guys more. Seriously though, that chicken nugget one was a little fucking weird. If I fucking heard someone whisper a reply to that would like make me laugh and scream and cry all at the same time. I don't even know. That one was probably the one that stood out to me the most, because it's so bizarre how that answered that like that, especially 20 minutes later, and so in a creepy way. Like, it sounded like to me like the spirit like whispered in her ear like, "Oh, take chicken nuggets." Like, what? What is that? But whatever. Tell me what your favorite one is. Oh, and by the way, I almost forgot to say, they said there was 17 stories on here, but there was only 16, so I don't know what the 17th one is. Hopefully it's like not mine. Actually, it would be kind of cool if it was mine, just not now, because yeah. Alright, so I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Give me a thumbs up, because it is summertime now, and that means we're going to be doing a lot more explorations, and I'm going to be trying to find more cemeteries, abandoned places, and just creepy places to take you guys and just investigate and talk to you. And it's just going to be so much fun. I'm so excited for the summer. I have a lot of research to do, a lot of investigating, location type of stuff to do, and I'm excited to share it with you guys. So definitely yeah, so definitely leave a thumbs up for that. Also subscribe, hit the bell for notifications when I post, and I will see you guys next time. Bye!